What's going on, guys? Jared here, Decks and Dice, Ramblings of an LGS owner. Again, mainly this is going to be for uh, our locals. I figured aside from doing a post on socials or whatever, a video would be better. Because it might actually help some people who aren't locals, who are somewhere else, maybe experiencing the same thing. And again, I apologize about the sinuses. I hope this goes away within the next couple of days. But anyways, sorry. Yeah, none of this is getting edited out because I don't have an editor, and we just do it raw dog here. So sorry, not sorry. The video. Sorry about the long pause. The video will be for our casual Commander players in our Commander League on Fridays. There was questions the other day about people playing too strong a decks in the casual deck, but they fell within the parameters of our casual league, which is essentially like we just follow the bracket system now. You know, if your deck is a bracket 3 or below, you're good to go in our casual league. You know, bracket 4, 5, scooch over to our CEDH league and quit being a big fish in a little pond, essentially. So, sorry, my neck is stiff too. So, with that being said, it's time to just kind of lay down some ground, not really ground rules, but just throw out some stuff out there that should be happening before you even start turn 1. And yes, we call these turn 0 talks. You have a turn 0 talk to figure out what decks you're going to play, you know, like, hey, I see you're playing Omnath, what kind of fuckery is in there? Or, hey, I see you have Joda, you know, what the hell kind of thing, you know. Any of the problematic commanders, like, you know, you can talk to people, be like, hey, man, I'd rather you not play that, but if you are, then I'm going to pull out, you know, my fuck you deck too. Have conversations about this before you even start the game. Figure out who's playing what. You know, if Sally has only been playing for 4 months and, you know, Ben over there has been playing for 5 years, you know, kind of like understand who you're playing with, who you're sharing the table with, whatnot. Figure out, like, what's going on, essentially. Just little parameters for the game before you even start the game, okay? That is super important, because if someone, and no, I'm not picking on you for the person who plays this, but if someone pulls out the Dragon and they're like, it falls within the parameters, someone more experienced might be like, okay, well, let me see the deck, and then, you know, they siphon through it and be like, it falls within the 3 brackets, you know, good to go kind of thing. So, with that being said, though, people need to get better at threat identification and, like, responses, okay? And like I told the people who came to me about people playing certain commanders that just seemed too high power and all that, the only thing I told them was get good. Because I'm tired of hand-holding. I'm tired of having my minions hand-hold. And we handheld for a long time here. A long time. Okay? And it didn't really seem to do much. It just kept cultivating the big fish, little pond shit. And honestly, that bothers me more than anything. It really does. I get it. You're like the really big 6th grader that is picking on the 4th graders or whatever, but please, most respectful way possible, get the fuck over yourself. Migrate over to the CEDH table, okay? Just do it. If you have a friend group that you like to play with that just does casual, then I understand where you're coming from, but you have to decide if it's fair for someone of your caliber to continue playing against casual people or not, you know? No one's forcing anyone into our casual league or our CEDH league, so if worst case scenario, which I wouldn't want to happen because it's cool to have people play in league, you don't play in league for that night or whatever, you just free play, which a lot of people do as well. So I'm going off on a squirrel tangent there. Identifying threats. Yes, let's rein it back in a little bit. You need to get better at that. Anyone who plays a problematic commander, you know, just like the Dragon, Omnath, Joda, Kenneth, Krinko, Nekasar, Sin Triplets, there's plenty of problematic commanders out there. You guys need to understand that those are your targets, you know. Right off the bat, those are going to be your targets. Now, it also depends on who is piloting these decks. If it's someone who is brand new and doesn't know how to play the deck, arguably not the target, okay? Sure, they might have a problematic commander, but it's like handing a rocket launcher to a toddler. Like, they might be able to fire it, but it's not going to go where it's supposed to go, and they're probably going to blow themselves up with it, okay? Like, you just need to watch them. They're probably not the target, the problem. Now, that being said, you need to move on to figuring out who is piloting what. If someone who has been playing for 20 years is piloting any deck, honestly, any deck, you need to watch them the closest. That 20 years of experience is going to end up most likely being the thing that puts the foot in everyone's ass, okay? Doesn't matter what they're doing, what they're piloting, they probably need to be your primary target. So, moving on, kind of learning when to interact and when not to. Just because someone plays a rampant growth doesn't mean you need to counterspell it. Just because someone poops out a 1/1 death touch doesn't mean you need to Swords to Plowshares it. You know, like, save your stuff for actual legitimate game changing moves. Like, the best you can, hold on to your stuff, because sure, you just swords that 1/1 death touch, but oh no, let's say Finn the Fangbearer is their commander, and you don't have a swords when Finn hits the battlefield, you know? Like, just because someone does something doesn't mean you need to interact with it right then and there. Save your stuff, plan your turn out for the next 2 or 3 turns at least, figure out what you want to do, and then adjust accordingly to what happens in the other turns that come around to yours. And then, by your turn, you should have figured some shit out to do and not just sit there for 20 minutes dawdling because you weren't paying attention, or you just legit have no interaction in your deck, which is a fucking problem too. Okay? You need to have answers in your decks for problems. I understand not every deck is built that way. Kind of like my Rakdos deck. It just poops out problems and doesn't care if there's answers to them or not, because it's just going to poop out another problem. Okay? If you're going up against a deck like that, different scenario, okay? You need to hold on to your interactions. You need to use them in an appropriate time, and you also need to have interactions in your deck, okay? Most times you need to have interactions in your deck. Like, my Rakdos deck is a terrible example. It is literally built not to win. It is strictly just table hate, does not care if I'm hurting myself or not. It just It just is, and everyone hates that deck because sure, you can play the game, but you're going to pay 5 life, you're going to discard a card, you're going to destroy a land. You know, it's a terrible thing to experience. But anyways, a lot of what I have overheard and what people tell me is that everyone trying to play in these things is literally just essentially trying to play a game of solitaire. They just want to do their thing. They want to do it as quickly as possible, and they don't care what's going on around them in the pod, okay? I understand that's a thing, that is a mindset that a lot of people have, but that's generally, I'm not saying all the time, but that's generally not the plan for Commander, okay? You need to be aware of what the hell is going on. You need to be able to know who did what, when, where, and how that's going to affect what your stuff is going to do, okay? You guys need to be a little more self-aware of how you aren't properly playing the game, okay? You need to be able to keep a hold of your own triggers. I always hear people are like, oh, geez, you know, beat, back up, I missed something. That needs to arguably stop, too. If you missed a trigger, if you missed a card draw, boo-hoo, you missed it, you fucked up, catch it next turn, okay? And the cool thing about all of this is that Commander is a social game, all right? If you don't want to pay attention to what 3 other people are doing, then by all means, and oh no, please don't make this a thing at the shop, pick up a 60 card format and do that. It's a 1v1, you know, battle. You're not having to pay attention to 3 other people. You're paying attention to the person across from you. And heaven forbid a modern, a standard, popper, any of that shit were to take hold at the shop but Commander. I love Commander. It's good. But come on now, there are other formats. Adversely, we could bring back Oathbreaker, which has been kind of somewhat seeing a little bit of an uptick. Like, that's even arguably better than normal Commander. It's a 1v1 format, Commander-ish. You know, you use a Planeswalker as your commander, you get your signature spell, 60 card format, you got 20 life, like, you know, go. I like that a lot better, honestly. But I guess long and short, guys, like, if you're going to play Commander and you're going to play in the leagues that we have, if the deck falls within the parameters of something, then just get good. That's the best advice I have for you. Commander is a social game. You're supposed to politic. You're supposed to be able to, like, get favors from other people for not targeting their commander or not countering something, you know. Talk to people. Interact with them. Don't be scared of them. It's a game. They're there to win too or whatever, but like doesn't mean you can't break bread and figure some shit out to where maybe you two are the last ones left and then you duke it out. Okay? Talk to people. Figure it the fuck out. All right? If you have any rulings questions, and if you've made it this far into the video and you're a local or whatever, or anywhere else for that matter, talk to Callie. He's usually up there by the register or playing CDH. Talk to Callie. He knows the rules really well. It's kind of part of the reason why I pay him. He's a minion, you know. Talk to Callie. Talk to Willie. Willie has an extensive knowledge as well. If either of those two aren't available, if you see JD is here. JD is a judge, okay? Ask JD. He does not care fielding ruling questions. Ask Sean. Ask Beer Brian. Like, there are people you can ask that will tell you the correct thing that needs to happen, all right? I mean, I would say ask Matt, but Matt doesn't like being bothered too much. So, you know, you can ask him. He's not going to be an asshole, but, like, if there's anyone else available, don't ask Matt first. Sorry about the cough. But anywho, so that's kind of the thing, I guess. I just wanted to throw this one out there. It's a lot easier than tippy typing out a big ass thing that no one's going to read. Maybe someone will watch this, you know, but if any of this applies to you and you're not a local, but you're like in Kansas somewhere, whatever, you know, like I hope it helped. It's I get it. There are a bunch of other shops out there that do hand holding, that do like point values for, you know, oh, if you win by turn 3, it's -3 points, or if you do an extra turn, it's. We used to do stuff like that, and it just got overly complicated, man, and it fucking sucked. In all honesty, it sucked. There were so much crap to keep up with. It was confusing, and just fuck it. You know, the game itself was already confusing enough. Why add on an extra, like, 13 layers of points for doing bad things? You get minus points or whatever. Like, yeah, we have side quests, but there's like 4 side quests. It's really super simple. It doesn't add that much complexity to the game, you know? Jeebus. Sorry, guys. But yeah, that's it. That's all I'm going to ramble about. Please, dear God, have a turn 0 conversation. Figure out what the fuck you're going to do. Have interactions in your deck. Not everything that goes on needs to be responded to. Learn how to identify a threat. Learn when is the proper and not the proper time. Well, learn when the proper time is to respond to something. Understand that just because someone has a problematic commander doesn't necessarily mean they need to be the target. 8 times out of 10, though, target their asses, get them off the board. If it's someone else in the pod who has 30 years, 20 years experience or whatever, target them first. Don't care who the fuck they are. Target them first. They're going to be not necessarily the problem, but if you just leave them alone and let them dawdle over there and do whatever the hell their deck wants to do, they're going to be the problem. So, threat assessment, guys. Just get good at it. Quit bitching about decks that seem to be too powerful, but they fall within the parameters. Like I keep saying, get good. It's the only way that people are going to get good is if they have to, you know, embrace the suck and overcome adversity and actually learn how to deal with stuff. If we keep throwing marshmallows at people, you don't learn shit, you know, calm seas never made a good sailor kind of thing. Like, just, you'll be okay, guys. It's a game. First and foremost, it's a game. You'll be fine. Have a rule 0 conversation, or turn 0 conversation. I don't know what the hell I've been calling it, but whatever the proper terminology is, you know, have that conversation. Don't be scared, all right? Yeah, okay, that's all. Sorry. Video's ending now. You guys have a good one. Don't forget to like, sub, share, all that good stuff. This is a terrible, terrible ending, but yeah, you guys have a good one. Remember, life is not a dick. You don't have to take it so hard. You're a trash can, not a trash can't. You guys have a good weekend, and maybe I'll gripe at you all sometime next week. Take it easy.